Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new Doctor Who ranking video for today. So for this Doctor Who ranking video, I'm going to be ranking every Peter Davison story from Doctor Who, and this is 20 of them, all 20 Peter Davison stories, aka all 20 of the 5th Doctor stories from worst to best. Now, when I get to the top 10, they are the top 10. They're the ones I do love the most, where basically from 20th to 11th place, these are the ones that aren't really as bad. They're just meh. And then, well, basically from 20th place to basically 17th place are the ones I just kind of don't really feel the urge to go back and rewatch at the moment. So, but for me to rank these, it's basically from my rewatch opinion and how many stories I go and rewatch. Now, when it comes to season 19, I don't really rewatch season 19 a lot unless it's through the Blu-ray. I don't really go back and rewatch the DVDs now since the Blu-rays came out back in 2018, which is why I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on season 20 next week, because I'm hoping season 20 might change in my opinion, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the new special effects for the 40th anniversary edition of the 5 Doctors. So, are you sitting comfortably? And let's dive into how I rank the Peter Davison era. So, in 20th place, it is Black Orchid. Now, Black Orchid, it is a 2-part story in between season 19. It literally takes place in between the Visitation and Earthshock. Now, the Visitation, it's one of my favourite stories of Davison, and so is Earthshock. So, the fact that this story is so low in the list, and it's in between 2 of the great stories from Davison's first season, I don't really connect much with Black Orchid. I find it very, very dull. It does have some good moments in there, like with the 5th Doctor playing cricket, where you got the kind of girl Sarah Sutton playing Nyssa and this other character. I like the fact we have George, who's basically had his tongue ripped out when he was literally writing the book of Black Orchid. Yeah, that's got some good moments in it, but the rest of the story is just very not that interesting, and I'm sorry to say that. So yeah, in 20th place, it is Black Orchid. So then, in 19th place, we jump into Kinder, the 3rd story to season 19. It's not as great for me as the next Mara story, which is from season 20, aka Snake Dance. I actually prefer Snake Dance more to Kinder. Now, this story, even though it's in 19th place, it was going to be in 20th place, but then I remembered how much I didn't really enjoy Black Orchid. I find Black Orchid very, very a dull Davison story, where Kinder, it does do some good moments in there, like when you got that mad professor saying, "Open the box, or I'll have you shot." When you kind of have Adric using the kind of machine to smash through the forest where the Kinder is, it's very okay. I don't like how Adric is there basically screaming for help when he's basically just in the machine. The rest of the story is just pretty much meh. I mean, the whole CGI effect on the snake as well. It depends how much you watch this. Now, I don't really, from what I can recall, because it's been a while since we watched season 19 and Kinder in total, I don't really recall how many CGI effects there is for Kinder. The original one is just absolutely terrible. I don't know if it had a special edition one when the DVD came out. I know Snake Dance did. I'm not 100% sure if it was just Snake Dance that had it on the DVD or was it just the pair of them. Kinder, yeah, the CGI for the snake is bad. And I'm sorry for the bell clicking. It's my cat. So yeah, in 19th place, it is Kinder. In 18th place, now we jump into season 21. And to be honest with you, to have a season 21 story pretty much this low, it's very impossible, because season 21, it is my favourite Davison era. But the way I feel about this story, again, it's a 2-part story, and it is The Awakening. Well, The Awakening does have some good moments. I like the fact when you got the Mara smashing through the wall, when you just see his big face going like that. The rest of the story, yeah, it's very much a kind of story. It's one that really doesn't pull me in as much as other stories does for the Davison era. I mean, it's got some good moments with the Marvelous. I do like the Mars. I do like the little statue thing that comes upon, like Matilda, like physically shows up on the TARDIS console when it's holding on to one of the columns, and it's there, and it spins its head around. I find that a bit interesting. The rest of the story, yeah, you know what, it's not one of my favourites, and I don't really rewatch this one quite a lot. I do need to give it another rewatch at some point, but I think I'll probably wait for Doctor Who The Collection Season 21. So then, 17th place, we jump into The King's Daemons. Now, The King's Daemons, it is a two-part story. As you can tell, I don't really enjoy the two-part stories as much as certain people do. But The King's Daemons, it's basically the last story to Season 20, and just before The Five Doctors comes out in November. I have to be honest with you, The King's Demon, it is my least favourite Season 20 story. It's one I do pretty much don't really go back and rewatch a lot. I will do for the Blu-ray when I get that next week. Out of basically all of the Davis seasons, Season 20, it is my least favourite season, but it does have some good stories in it. It's just, I cannot really put Season 90, because I do love Season 21, it is my favourite Davis era. Season 19 has got to go in next place because it does have some good gems. Even though Season 20 has some good gems as well, I really have to be honest with you, I do struggle trying to place how I rank the seasons. But I really do enjoy Season 20. Don't get me wrong, I do not enjoy it. I do love it. I think it's a good season. But to be honest with you, The King's Daemons, it is a fun little two-parter. It doesn't really have much. It just literally has the Master in costume. And then you know how bad the costume is because you still see Anthony Ainley in the character, and you know straight away from the face it's the Master. And when he reveals himself to the Doctor, oh my dear Doctor, you have been naive. You knew it was the Master. It's just really bad. The way it is done so badly, the way it just fades out and you just see Anthony Ainley's face and you got the sword fight between the Doctor and the Master, which is pretty cool. But it just doesn't do any favour because we know it's the Master straight away when we see his face. We know it's Anthony Ainley, but what's the point with the whole, with the whole ridiculous effects with him revealing to be, it's me, Doctor. Yeah, you know what I'm on about. Yeah, that's why I don't really enjoy King's Demons. But to be honest with you, Anthony is quite good in it in part 2. So yeah. Number 16, and we jump back into Season 21. And for this story, it is Warriors of the Deep. Now, Warriors of the Deep, why have I put this a bit higher than other stories? Now, yes, and yes, it does have some terrible moments, like when you got that woman trying to kick the sea creature coming through the base and she's there trying to kick you with it. I'm sorry, but every time I watch this, I do try my best to keep the laughter in, and I can't do it. The way she just goes, hiya, hiya. How stupid is that? But on a serious note, I love the fact the cliffhanger to part 1, you got the Doctor diving in, where he basically gets pushed into the tank and Tala and Tegan basically think he's drowned to his death. I love the fact we have the return of the Silurians and the Sea Devils, which is why I do enjoy the story, because I do love the Sea Devils. They are my favourite Pertwee villain. And the fact that we have them in a 5th Doctor story and, of course, in a 13th Doctor story, which, to be honest with you, the 5th and 13th Doctors, they're not really great, proper... People don't really go back and rewatch their Sea Devil story. I mean, I've heard terrible bad things about Warriors of the Deep, and even though I do enjoy Legends of the Sea Devils, there are some fans out there that really do not enjoy it. And yeah, you know what? I'm not going to dive into that, but why I enjoy them. It's just, I enjoy them because it is the return of the Sea Devils. The Sea Devils are basically my favourite Pertwee villain, and I actually love the return of them. The story itself is actually quite interesting. Yes, it does have some irksome moments, but it's actually quite enjoyable, and I just really enjoy Warriors of the Deep. I know some people don't, but I'm sorry to anybody that really does not like it. I have to be honest with you. I just absolutely enjoy it for what it is. 15th place, and we jump into Time Flight. So, Time Flight. What can I tell you about Time Flight? Well, some people hate it, some people don't enjoy it. Me, on the other hand, I gotta be honest, I kind of enjoy it. I mean, yeah, I actually physically enjoy it. I mean, there are a load of worse episodes in modern Doctor Who than there is in here. Now, Time Flight, it really does mess around with time contours and the way you got Concords, the way the Master basically is in another ridiculous outfit, pretending to be Khalid and going shala, shalam, shalam, shali. And then when he gets knocked out by the blast and he goes, oh, Oh, Doctor, you never do understand. You never do. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Just that reveal that Carl Age is actually the Master. Yeah, you know what? It's okay. You know, not a best reveal. Oh, it's me, Doctor. You know, it's a good reveal. It's not a terrible. It's not a terrible kind of reveal. It's one that's just basically good, but it's not very ones that really surprise. I mean, I was more surprised when John Sim takes off the mask when he appears to be Razor in World Nothing Time, and the Doctor Falls. Even though the trailer did when John Sim was returning, but even though then we don't really see John Sim until the final clips over moments where he takes the mask off. Yeah, it really screams very Delgado vibes, that one, and Anthony Ainley vibes. So yeah, sorry, 15th place. It is Time Flight. Time Flight, it does have some good moments in it, but you can tell that the budget went into the previous story, which was of course Earthshock, which is very much higher in the list. 14th place, and we're jumping into the second broadcast story of the Davison era, aka Fall to Doomsday, which is actually the very first story Davison filmed when he's literally getting ready to play the Doctor. And this is the very first story that they did for Davison to try and get into the role of the Doctor. And how does it hold up to me? Because it's in 14th place. Well, it's got some good moments in it. I do like the cricket ball thing when he's there throwing it across the spaceship to give him the boost to get to the TIEs, because Tegan takes the TIEs to try and warn Earth about the alien prince creatures. You know, when you got, I love the reveal of the robots when he takes the mask off going, "This is me." That's really good moments as well. The rest of the story, it's mainly okay. It's one that I do kind of enjoy rewatching quite a bit, and I have rewatched this one quite a bit in the last couple of years than I used to. But there again, it's not one that I do think, oh, you know what, I'm just going to pull out what is the best Davison story. Yeah, I'm not going to pull it out of that kind of hat. So it's good, but not technically the best Davison story. And I'm sorry to say that. 13th place. So now we're going to season 20. Now, this story, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how it's going to look in Blu-ray when it comes out, when I get it finally next week. Arc of Infinity, it sees the return of the Time Lords since the Invasion of Time in 1978. We also see the return of Omega for the first time since 1973. And of course, instead of having the Gel Guards that we see in the Three Doctors, he kind of has this antimatter bird-like creature, which is just obviously not great. I prefer the Gel Guards to that creature. 100%. I do prefer the Gel Guards. So, Omega needs a Time Lord body print, so he can actually copy that Time Lord body print to basically come into our universe. Which he does, but the body print he takes is, of course, the Doctor's, which is why Omega looks so much like the Fifth Doctor. And even though the Fifth Doctor does kill Omega, so that way he can stop the implosion between antimatter and matter, because they're not supposed to meet. It's kind of a good story. Now, Colin Baker in this one does play his character over the role. Yes, I know, Colin Baker does return in a season later to play the sixth incarnation of the Doctor. But he plays Commander Maxwell in this one, and his performance is very, very much over the top. And I believe from interviews and stuff, he was told to calm it down because the show is Doctor Who, not the Maxwell show. But you know what? It's kind of got some good epic moments in it, and I do enjoy Arc of Infinity. Then, of course, number 12. So in 12th place, we jump into the Black Guardian trilogy in season 20 with the second story, Terminus. Now, Terminus, out of the Black Guardian trilogy, I do consider Terminus to be the weak story out of the Black Guardian trilogy because I really do enjoy Mordrin Undead more and Enlightenment. But Terminus is kind of an okay story. I love the fact we have that bloke panicking, "We're on Terminus!" Yeah, I really find that a bit funny where he goes, "We're on Terminus!" You know, I find that a little bit funny, his acting. It just reminds me, just want to go up to the screen, go into the screen and give him a good slap across the face in time to shut up. But it is a departure story because we do say goodbye to Sarah Sutton, aka Nyssa. Now, Nyssa is one of my favourite Davison companions. I do enjoy with Tom, and I do actually be honest with you, I actually prefer her more with Davison than I do with Tom, because with Tom, she doesn't really get to do much in Logopolis, and then in Keeper of Traken, she does work so well with the Fourth Doctor, and I'm glad that she got to become a companion. And Terminus is her departure, which is really sad. Actually, it's halfway through the season. I would have preferred it if she left literally in season 21. I mean, imagine Resurrection of the Daleks with Nyssa and Tegan and Tarlo, and basically Nyssa and Tegan end up leaving the Doctor together, and the Doctor and Tarlo go off. I really think that would have been more of a better ending for Nyssa. But she does go and do what she does best. Like, she goes off to try and cure this kind of alien disease. So, yeah, you know what? She's kind of good, and I do kind of enjoy Terminus for it's not the best departure. I mean, out of the main companions who have had terrible departures, I can only think of two. Leela and Nyssa. They are the two that deserved a better send-off than what they actually got. And I'm sorry to say that. So, coming into 11th place now, we go back into season 20 with the final story of the Black Guardian trilogy, which is, of course, Enlightenment. Enlightenment, I'm going to be honest, I actually do quite enjoy it. Now, I don't enjoy the widescreen version that was on the special edition in the Black Guardian trilogy box set, but it does have some epic moments in there. I mean, I do love the race against the boat, like the boat space race with the Eternals. That's what they actually call the Eternals. So the Doctor, Tegan and Tarlo end up materializing in the middle of an internal race with the Eternals. The Black Guardian and the White Guardian basically the White Guardian makes his appearance since 1978, sorry, in the Reboss operation. So we do have the return of the White Guardian. We also have the return of the Black Guardian, and the Black Guardian's basically been through most of this trilogy. And of course, he's there trying to say the Doctor is going to fall into my trap. The Doctor's going to die. And of course, he is betrayed by Tarlo, who basically was hired to assassinate the Fifth Doctor. But he does fail because Tarlo basically starts to like the Fifth Doctor, and the Black Guardian is no more. We see him burst into flames. But as we know from the White Guardian, if there's always light, there's always going to be black. So we do know the Black Guardian is still about in the universe. I really want the Black Guardian to return and plot his revenge against the Doctor once again. I really think that would be interesting, don't you? Now we are into the top 10 stories of the Davidson era. So in number 10, it is Snake Dance from season 20. As you can tell, I really do enjoy season 20 stories more than some others, but there are other season 21 stories and some others from season 20 in this list, including season 19. So you do know I enjoy the Davidson era. Snake Dance, what can I say about it? Well, it's so much better than Kinder. We go to the Mara's home planet. We have the person that plays Doc Martin in the ITV drama series, Martin Clunes. He makes his very first debut as an actor in this story, I believe. It's got some iconic moments in it with Tegan when she's there possessing the Mark of the Mara, and when she goes into the tent and makes that woman scream. I love the fact the Doctor is basically having to try and track down Tegan because she's been infected by the mind of the Mara still since Kinder. And she's basically been very, very like dormant in Tegan's mind. So the Mara has always been there since Kinder, but he's been very, 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 very shoved back into her mind in this, so he literally does come out in full force. And of course, we do have the epic snake reveal, and it's so much better than Kinder. I absolutely love it. I really think it's so much better CGI effect for the Mara than it is in Kinder. It's absolutely brilliant, and I just absolutely, genuinely love it. 9th place, we jump into Maldrin Undead, the first story of the Black Guardian trilogy, and my god, he's absolutely brilliant. I do quite enjoy this one. I love the fact that Brigadier Alistair Gordon-Stuart's in this one, and he's retired and he's now a teacher at a school. And when he does come across the Doctor, he doesn't remember him all the time, and there's been a memory kind of lost story going on. And then, of course, he remembers everything when the Doctor goes, Joe Grant, do you remember my assistant? Joe Grant, Joe Grant. And I love that whole music, and you got the flashback with the second Doctor where he encounters the Doctor with the Yeti and the Cybermen and everything that goes on in the Pertwee era, and then the Tom Baker, and he goes, well, you've done it again, Doctor. I really love that bit. I really think that's a great way. Now, the actual Maldrin himself, I think he's a good actor. And the fact that basically all the Maldrin people want the fact that the Doctor to basically help heal them. And he goes, do you not understand? There's 8 of them and I've only got 8 generations left. If I help them, it'd be the end of me as a Time Lord. I really love that cliffhanger. Now, the CGI in this one, the updated CGI effects are done so brilliantly, and I absolutely love rewatching it every time. It's absolutely brilliant. Tarlo's introduction is quite good as well. I love the fact how he steals the Brigadier's car. and crushes it into a field, which is kind of good, which is why I do enjoy it as well. So yeah, in ninth place we have Mouldering Undead. So, 8th place. In 8th place, we jump into season 21 with Frontios, where we are on this planet that the Doctor should never even go, and we meet the Tractators for the very first time, the wood-like alien creatures. And what can I say about the story? It's actually pretty dark. I mean, from anything from The Awakening, this Davison's era goes pretty much dark because you get people get pulled into the ground, they get their heads sliced off, they get put onto a machine, a digger, which is just absolutely genuinely fantastic, and I absolutely love Frontios. I love the fact how the TARDIS breaks up because of the marsh bombs, and it still basically can be fixed with the help of the Tractator using all his power to get it all back together. The Doctor's really good. I mean, the fact that when he sees the TARDIS destroyed and he just goes, the TARDIS has been destroyed, and he's not even showing that much emotion to it. If it was Tennant, the 10th Doctor, I mean, if it was just the 10th Doctor, he'd be going all cryy face, the TARDIS has been destroyed. Yeah, the 5th Doctor, no, not even a tear, which is one of the reasons why I do enjoy Classic Who more than the modern era of the show. So yeah, in 8th place we have Frontios. Right then, so 7th place. In 7th place, we jump into Castro Valley, Davison's very first story. And I was actually going to try and put this in the top 5, but I really do enjoy the other stories above this one. So Castro Valley is a great introduction to a new Doctor. Now, some introductions don't go well. I mean, look at the 10th Doctor as he just stays in bed after the episode. Davison, on the other hand, has a much better opening story for his Doctor. I mean, yes, okay, he's suffering with post-regeneration trauma. He needs the comfort of the Zero Room so he can renew himself. Yes, the Adric is kidnapped by the Master and basically created a hologram program thing thanks to the Master, basically trying to get the Doctor so he can kill the Doctor while the Doctor is in his weak state, not in his strong state, which is kind of good, to be honest with you. I really do enjoy Anthony Aiello in this one, and it does carry on so well with From the Goblins and the Keeper of Traken. I absolutely love the story. It's absolutely brilliant, and I do love the Castro Valley people, even though they're not really existing. Adric, on the other hand, he's very much good. I really do enjoy Matthew Waterhouse's acting in this one, because when you have him tortured and he's there, no, this isn't me, it's a projection, an illusion, and he said, a trap, the Master. And I love the fact when the TARDIS are heading to the Big Bang, and I love the new CGI effect that you get on the season 19 Blu-ray. And you got the Master laughing, going, farewell, my friends, farewell forever. I really love that. I really do love that. It's a great cliffhanger, and that's why I had to put Castro Valley in 6th place. So, number 6, the 6th place. What can I say about it? Well, in 6th place, it is The Planet of Fire. Now, this is Davison's second to last story, and my god, this one, it is absolutely brilliant. It uses Chameleon's prop so better than it did in King's Demons. We say goodbye to Tarlo, we say hello to Perry in this one. It's got some great film and location work in Lazzarote. It's actually got some fantastic location work in it. It's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. Anthony Aiello is back as the Master, and this is the very last time that we have a Master versus the 5th Doctor. And my god, it's actually quite interesting. It's absolutely brilliant. And the fact when you see the Master get burned to life, oh, is this the end of the Master? Is he going to come back? Yeah, you know he comes back. He's in the next season with Colin Baker. Planet of Fire, absolutely brilliant. So the Master basically needs the help of Chameleon because he was fiddling around with his own tissue manipulator. It backfired on him and he got shrunken down. So to basically try and renew himself, he needs to go to the Planet of Fire so he can renew himself by using the planet gases, which he does fail because the Doctor does basically interfere and basically ends up killing him. Well, as we know, he doesn't. Perry's absolutely brilliant. Nicola Bryant is brilliant as Perry in this introduction story for her, and I just really enjoy it. I wish we had more stories with Davison and Perry before basically he regenerates into Colin Baker in the next story, but it's actually quite enjoyable, and I just really do enjoy it. Planet of Fire is quite brilliant. Number 5. So in 5th place, we jump into The Visitation. The Visitation. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Brilliant. Just brilliant. It's my second favourite story from season 19. I love the Tellarites. The Tellarites are a fantastic reptilian design. I would love to see this return in Modern Who at some point. I love the fact they build themselves a death robot, goes around dressed as the Grim Reaper. The TARDIS team are brilliant in this story as well. The fact that it sets up, that the Doctor sets up the Great Fire of London, again, as an absolute streak of genius. I really love it. I really do. I love a historian episode. And we didn't really have many in the Tom Baker era or the Pertwee era. So when you get into this era and you do have a couple of historians in one season, like Black Orchid was a historian episode set in 1920. Then you got this one. This is done so brilliant. I mean, this is how you do a proper historian story. Have an alien invasion in Earth's past. Honestly, it's just brilliant. I really do enjoy it. I really love, as I said, I do really actually love the Terrorites. The Terrorites are one of the best villains the Fifth Doctor has ever come across, and I just absolutely genuinely like the design. And I would like to see them return. They have been mentioned a couple of times. I mean, the last time we heard them mentioned was in Time of the Doctor on the planet Trenzalore. So yeah, I kind of want the Terrorites to return. So, number four, and it is Resurrection of the Daleks. The Daleks return after a 5-year break, and what happens in that 5 years? They've lost the war with the Mavellans that we find out in 1979's in Destiny of the Daleks. So the Daleks have lost the war with the Mavellans. They want to find Davros to help them basically create an anti-drug thing to basically stop them from getting infected with the Mavellan virus, which Davros was basically used on himself because now he wants to create a new race of Daleks, which he does in the next story, in Revelation of the Daleks, when he's on the planet Necros. The story, in fact, has a time, even though it has another time contour, and it literally pulls the TARDIS down to Earth, and the Doctor gets pulled into these events. And the fact that Daleks were going to duplicate him so that he can actually, that duplication can go and assassinate the High Council, the Time Lords. Really great stuff. I mean, this story is absolutely brilliant. And we say goodbye to Tegan in this story. So Tegan leaves, and it's very heart-wrenching because she's just basically had enough of all the death and destruction. And the fact that she leaves after meeting the Doctor's most popular enemy, aka the Daleks, really sad moments. As I said before, I think that if Nyssa was in this story as well, they could have left together. But I'm happy for what we actually did get for Tegan. She had a good, proper story. I love the fact that she encounters the Daleks for the first time. And of course, it's her departure. And then she does return in The Power of the Doctor, where she finds out that the Master is once again working with Cybermen and Daleks. Again, it's absolutely just an iconic story. Number 3. So in third place, now we are jumping into season 19, and it is the one story from season 19 I absolutely flipping love. We jump into Earthshock, ladies and gentlemen. So the Cybermen return after an 8-year gap since season 12 in 1975, and my God, it's an absolutely best way to bring them back. I mean, they got a fantastic design. I love David Banks when he literally reveals, "Destroy them! Destroy them at once!" Psh! Which one calls himself the Doctor? The tall one with the fizzy hair. And honestly, I just absolutely love Earthshock. It is the best Cyberman story from Classic Who. After the invasion, to be honest with you. It goes the invasion in this one. Also, I love the callbacks to the other Doctors where he goes, where he realises the TARDIS, he goes, "A TARDIS, Time Lord, but they are forbidden to interfere. This one calls himself the Doctor and does nothing else but interfere." And when you got that clip from the template of Hartnell going, "Emotion, love, pride, hate, fear. Do you have no emotions, my dear sir?" And there's this, and it literally shows a clip to The Wheel in Space, but they actually reference the events from the Tomb of the Summit. He goes, "I imagine you had orders to destroy me." And then you got Tom Baker from The Revenge, and he goes, "You got no home planet, you're blooming snarking. You're just a bunch of protecting soldiers looking for a galaxy in an ancient spaceship." Honestly, just fantastic stuff. And we have the death of Adric at the end of the story, after Simon basically wants to use the freighter to crash into Earth. And Adric basically hacks into the alien computer and sends the whole freighter back in time to the age of the dinosaurs and wipe out the dinosaurs. So really, it wasn't an actual meteorite, it was the freighter that killed all the dinosaurs. And I actually quite enjoy Earthshock. It's a brilliant story and absolutely fantastic. Number 2. So in second place, this one, it should have been number 1, but I kind of enjoyed my number 1 story more than I do this one. But in second place It's the Five Doctors. Yes, the Five Doctors. What can I say about it? Well, I genuinely just absolutely love the Five Doctors. I mean, the fact we have Patrick Troughton and John Pertwee come back in, replace their roles. William Hartnell unfortunately passed away, so they got Richard Herndon to come and play the first Doctor. Tom Baker unfortunately declined to return for the Five Doctors, but it is understandably why, because he's not long left the role. But they actually did use unseen footage from Shada, since Shada was cancelled. So in a way, the Fourth Doctor does make an appearance in this story. And of course, not just that, we have the return of the Yeti, Cybermen, we have a Dalek, we've got the Master, we have the Time Lords, we've got Barusula, who is a former teacher to the Doctor, and as we know from basically the Deadly Assassin, the Invasion of Time, and Arc Infinity, he's actually a good guy. In this one, Barusula basically becomes bad. And he wants the gain of immortality, and he wants to play the game of Rassilon with the Doctors by using the Doctors. And of course, we do have return of classic companions like Susan. We have the return of the Brigadier. We do see phantoms of Jamie and Zoe. We also see phantoms of Liz Shaw and Captain Mike Yates. Then, of course, we do have Sarah Jane, and then we literally have Tegan, Nissa. We have Tegan and Tarlo. It's absolutely a cracking multi-Doctor story. It's absolutely brilliant. I wonder, what more to the point, what are you young people doing inside my TARDIS? It's his TARDIS. Who's he mighty be? The Doctor. What? And I love the way he goes, regeneration, 4th. Goodness me, so there's 5 of me now. I just really find that line's really good. And when Tegan asks who he is, he goes, I might be a many a number of things, my dear, but as it happens, I am the Doctor. The original, you might say. But you shouldn't be here at the same time with him, should you? Oh, certainly not. I honestly have to admit, I really do enjoy the Five Doctors. It is just a fantastic story. It's in second place. I mean, it should be at number 1, but I kind of enjoy my favourite story for Davison more than this one. But second place isn't really that bad. I mean, the Five Doctors, it is a flipping masterpiece, and I cannot wait to see all 3 versions in HD, like the original 1983 transmitted version, the 1995 version that had all the special effects, and now in 2023 we have a whole new special effects for the story in the 40th anniversary, which I'm really looking forward to watching. Honestly, I cannot wait to get season 20. I really can't. It's just, I'm really looking forward to the Five Doctors. I really am. So yeah. And number 1. So my favourite Davison story is the case of Androzani. So the Doctor and Perry are in this situation. The Doctor cannot really do anything about the situation because really it doesn't really involve him. So really he's in this situation where he's got to get the hell out of there with Perry, but they're both coming infected with spectrotoxemia. They get caught up by the army, get arrested, gets basically rescued by Jax. Then they get caught again. The Doctor's basically taken on a spaceship by Studsley and his crew, who are basically following the orders of Morgus, who's basically having there in the army to try and kill Sirius Jack. But he does fail. He really does fail, because Jack ends up dying inside his robot copy of one of the army people in his hands. And then, of course, the Doctor rescues you, Perry. The only cure for spectrotoxemia is bat's milk, so the Doctor only has enough for 1 person, and he gives it all to Perry. So the fact that he sacrifices his life to save a girl he's not long just met really makes why the 5th Doctor is really one of the best ones in retrospect. I mean, it's not in my top 5, I'm sorry to say that. I mean, for my top 5, I really do enjoy Tom Baker, Sylvester McCoy, I really do enjoy Patrick Troughton, and of course Peter Capaldi and Paul McGann. They're my top 5 Doctors. Davison is in the top 10, as I said, and the case of Androzani, it is absolutely a brilliant story, and I love the way how he regenerates, because he doesn't even himself doesn't know if he's going to regenerate, because he says that, like, I must regenerate. I don't know. It feels different this time. So he actually thinks he's going to die, and the fact he regenerates into Colin Baker, it's actually a good, pretty gruesome death for a Doctor. So I now really do enjoy the case of Androzani. So that is me ranking all 20 of the Peter Davison stories from the 5th Doctor's era, from worst to best. How do you rank these? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe, share, and join for more awesome Doctor Who content.